This is a quick intro to using a point-and-shoot film camera. Well, this is a specific camera, Kodak Star 35 EF. Some of the principles should be the same with other similar cameras. This camera has a lens cover on the front right here. With the cover closed, it will not permit someone to take a picture with the shutter button here. It doesn't move, which is a nice feature because otherwise you'd be just taking pictures of blackness. But we open the film cover, or open the lens cover here. There's our lens. And now we have an option to turn the flash on or off here with this button. I don't have any batteries in it just yet, but right now the flash is off, and there the flash is on. The lightning bolt indicates flash. When you're taking pictures indoors, I would recommend using the flash all the time. Otherwise your pictures will turn out dark or not at all. When you're outside, generally you don't need the flash. It's generally bright enough. The sun is a good light source, except for when the sun goes down, it starts to get darker, then you'll probably want to turn your flash on. I'm going to go ahead and put some batteries in. Our battery compartment is on the bottom of the camera, right here. And in the battery door here, it shows you, you've got your positive end for one battery and your negative end for your other AA battery. Go ahead and put a couple batteries in there. Now, when you open the lens cover and turn on the flash, you should hear the flash start to power on with a high-pitched whine. I don't know if that came across on the video, but I'm certain that you saw the flash itself. On a lot of point-and-shoot cameras, this window here will illuminate when the flash is ready. There we go, it turned orange. It lets you know that the flash is ready to use. So I snapped a picture. What you do once you've done that is you want to advance the film. If I press on this button here, if I press on the shutter, this camera won't let me press it again because I've already used up that exposure. So I want to advance the film by moving this wheel until it won't move anymore. The camera knows how far the film frame is. So it's stopped, and that allows us to take another picture. You can see the flash works well. Now let's say I'm outside. I'm going to turn the flash off. This is all the way forward, so it's good to take a picture. No flash, but it was bright outside, so that doesn't matter. Advance the wheel. Up on top here, we have our counter window. That tells you how many exposures you have used so far. It's on 1 right now. etc. You may sometimes have a roll of film with 24 exposures and a roll with 36 exposures. And the camera won't necessarily stop when you get to the end of your roll. So you want to make sure you know how many exposures you have. Here is a empty film box. If you look, you can find where it tells you how many exposures it has. This one, 24 exposures. So when I'm using this camera, I see it get to 24. I know that I've used up my roll of film. This one here is a little different. It had, let's see, 36 exposures on it. So in that case, that would allow me to take a few more pictures. You just keep an eye on that. That'll let you know how much film you have left. And once you have used it all up, you're ready to unwind the film and take it out. You don't want to take it out immediately because film is sensitive to light. And once the camera is opened and the film is exposed to light, that will affect the pictures. It will essentially turn them to a bright white light, which will destroy whatever image you may have had on there. In order to load and take out the film, we've got a film door back here, and you open that by pressing this button upwards. That releases the door. We can open that up here. And they provided us with a handy diagram of how the film is loaded. You'll want to move this out of the way. You can do that just by pushing that up. And then load your film as it shows here. It comes across. There's your shutter right there. That's where your film lines up and how it gets exposed to the light. Let's take a quick snap. You may be able to see it go off. Line the holes of your film up with these cogs here, and that's what's going to advance your film along. You'll want to tuck it in here, and as you advance the film, it rolls along this spool here. Once you are all finished, sorry, this should have been down once the film canister is in there. That'll hold that in there. And this will line up with the top of the canister there, as it shows in the diagram. Once you're all finished, you'll notice that these cogs, they are stuck. They don't move one way or the other unless you're moving this. So how does the film go back into its canister? You want it to be back enclosed in its canister before you open the door so they don't get exposed. You press this button on the bottom, press that in, and now you can see that these cogs move freely. But you still don't want to open the door because that will allow the light to get in. So you rewind the film with this crank here, pull it out, and then you move it counterclockwise. I'm sorry, no, that's clockwise. You move it clockwise. And you can feel the resistance of the film as you pull it back. And once it's safely inside the canister, you will feel that that resistance isn't there anymore, and the crank will move more freely. And that's what will tell you when it is safe to open the door. And pull out your film canister and take it to be developed. This camera has a nice window here. And most film canisters, when you put them in there, if you happen to forget what kind of film you have in there or how many exposures you have left, it will. There should be some writing on the canister that'll give you an indication of how many exposures were on the film, what kind of film it was, which is quite handy. Now that we have rewound the film and opened the door to take the film out, you can see that our counting window here is down at S for start. And we can once again start our new roll of film at 0. So that first click of the shutter is a freebie. That just makes it so that the film can be rolled into place for the first exposure. So on and so forth. We're off to the races. One other thing. If you find that you've pressed this button on accident, and now the cogs can move freely in there, as long as you don't rewind the film, you should be okay. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and snap your next picture. Oh, gotta open the lens cap. There we go. Snap your next picture. Okay. Button is still pressed in, but once you move the wheel, button pops back out. So your film is still safely secure in there. Okay, I think that should get you started. And I hope you enjoy using your point and shoot camera.